We know what the future holds. Bible prophecy clearly indicates that we are living in the last days. We understand what events will lead to Armageddon and the arrival of God's new world. However, we do not know the exact events that we'll experience personally. For example, you might wonder, will I experience a natural disaster? And if so, what kind of disaster? How will persecution affect me? Will I end up in prison as I get older? Who will care for me? Have you ever asked yourself similar questions? Has this uncertainty made you anxious or fearful? Such feelings can make it hard to think clearly. But these feelings can go away when we realize that we are well prepared. For example, do you remember the feature drama from the 2023 convention, Commit Your Way to Jehovah? It illustrated how following the organization's direction saved lives during times of political unrest. But is there anything else we can do to be fully equipped for tomorrow? Absolutely. In fact, we are preparing ourselves every day.
Gajus Glockentin there, kicking off the May 2025 JW broadcasting episode, and straight out of the gate, going for the doomsday rhetoric. Armageddon's coming, we all know this. It's just obvious, isn't it, when we read our Bibles, that this specific time period in which we're living is the one that's going to lead to the end of the world as we know it. Not that we've been saying this for 140 years or so, or we may have been saying it, but now we really mean it. Just remarkable, really, that he is so unashamed to go with that angle right from the outset. And I found it very interesting when he spoke about how Jehovah's Witnesses can feel anxious or fearful.
Has this uncertainty made you anxious or fearful?
To at least some degree, what he's alluding to is the very deep and profound fear that many Jehovah's Witnesses feel when it comes to the thought of being persecuted. So when you're raised as a Jehovah's Witness, you're taught to believe that at some point the authorities are going to be coming for you. In fact, we have that kind of perfectly demonstrated in the so-called Bunker series of videos, thumbnail here, to my rebuttal of those videos. I think that was back in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. So it was very powerfully demonstrated that this is the sort of thing that Jehovah's Witnesses can look forward to, the authorities coming for them. And also the idea of Jehovah's Witnesses being kind of tortured for information on the whereabouts of their fellow worshippers. And so you have this thought, oh no, how much pain will I be able to tolerate before I give in? You know, are they going to start removing my fingernails? You know, and so on and so forth. You kind of think it through in your head as to what might happen to you. And yes, it's terrifying to plan ahead as to what Armageddon actually means, even if you make it through, even if you're one of the faithful ones. And it's interesting that Gajus Glockentin says that being anxious or fearful can make it harder for us to think clearly.
Such feelings can make it hard to think clearly.
And I think that kind of nails it, really, when it comes to cults, because isn't that precisely the point? They don't want you to be able to think clearly. They need you. They need you to be anxious or fearful. Because if you are anxious and fearful, then quite frankly, you're easier to control.